I'd like to share with you what I consider to be the strangest secret in the world, something that, if you really understand it, can transform the way you live and the way you achieve your goals. The great Dr. Albert Schweitzer, who was one of the greatest doctors and philosophers of the 20th century, said something that resonated deeply with many of us. During an interview in London, when asked what was wrong with the men of his time, he paused for a moment, reflected, and replied, "Men just don't think." That's what I want to talk to you about today, the profound impact of thought and how it shapes our reality. We live in an era that many consider to be a true golden age. Look around you. We are in an era of unprecedented technological innovations, scientific breakthroughs, and economic opportunities that have never been seen before. If you're in a country like the United States, for example, what we have today is an abundance of opportunities. We are in a land of wealth, knowledge, and progress. However, although we are living in a historic period of prosperity, the truth is that many people, even with all the favorable conditions, end up squandering these opportunities. And strange as it may seem, the reason for this is a lack of deep reflection and conscious decision-making. Look, if we took 100 men who started their lives at the age of 25, all with the same hope of achieving success, what would the results be when they reach the age of 65? Let's imagine that all of them, when they reach that age, had started their lives with a clear goal of achieving some form of success. The truth is that in the end, the vast majority don't achieve what they wanted. Of the 100 men, 1 may have become rich, 4 may have achieved relative financial independence, 5 will continue working, but 54 will end up without resources, in a situation of financial hardship. Only 5% of these men will have actually achieved success. That's something to think about, isn't it? What happened to the other 95%? What happened to their hopes and dreams when they were 25? Why do so many end up failing along the way? The key to understanding this lies in a fundamental definition of success that I've come across over the years. Success is not just a matter of achieving material or financial goals, but rather the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. In other words, a person who is constantly moving towards a clear goal, a person who has a defined purpose in life and who moves forward step by step to achieve that purpose, that person is, in fact, achieving success. If you're not moving towards a predetermined goal, then you're not being successful, regardless of what your life may look like. Now, what's really interesting about this is that, according to renowned psychiatrist Rollo May, the biggest obstacle to success in our time is not fear or cowardice, but conformity. And this is where one of modern society's biggest problems comes in. We live in a culture where people often act according to what others do, without really thinking about why they are doing it. They let themselves go with the flow, as if they were simply going with the flow, but without questioning where that flow is going. The big problem is that, in doing so, they don't really know what they want or where they're going. And so they end up falling into the error of trying to please others, of following external expectations, instead of focusing on a personal, authentic, and meaningful goal. So what does this mean in practical terms for most of us? Well, it implies that conformity, seeking the approval of others, and adapting to social norms can be a major obstacle to real success. Instead of charting their own path, many people simply imitate what others are doing without thinking independently about their own needs, desires, or aspirations. They may have the desire to achieve success, but they have no clarity about what that success is, which makes the process of achieving it almost impossible. What they don't realize is that, in doing so, they end up becoming like everyone else, without distinguishing themselves or achieving anything truly significant. The majority of the population, by the time they reach 65, are still dependent on other people for their survival, rather than having achieved true financial or emotional independence. And the reason for this is simple. They have never asked themselves the fundamental question, what do I really want out of life? They have never planted this clear goal in their minds. Their goal is vague, fluid, without direction. They don't know what they want, and so they end up simply following life aimlessly. But the truth is that what you think, what you fill your mind with, will manifest in your life. The way you think, the beliefs you have, the goals you set, all this begins to shape your reality. So if you have a clear goal and know where you're going, then you're much more likely to achieve success. It doesn't matter how difficult the journey is, because when you have a clear vision, you have a purpose, and that purpose will guide you through the challenges. That's the key to success: having a goal, defining what you want, and working consistently and deliberately towards that goal. You must visualize success as something that has already happened, as a reality that is in front of you. Visualization is a powerful tool that can help solidify your commitment to that goal and also keep your motivation high, even when the going gets tough. You need to believe that it is possible to achieve your goals, even when you haven't achieved them yet. This is the secret that most successful people understand, but that many fail to realize. Now, as you begin to put your goals into practice and start working towards them, you will notice a change. Opportunities start to appear. You start to attract the right people. Circumstances start to align in your favor. The things you need to achieve success start to appear, not by chance, but as a direct result of your focused thinking and deliberate action. So remember this: the secret is not to wait for things to happen, but to start acting and creating the circumstances you want. Now, why is it that people with clearly defined goals and objectives are more likely to succeed in life, while those who don't know what they want end up failing? Well, I'm going to tell you something that, if you really understand it, could change your life forever. If you fully absorb what I'm about to say, from this moment on, your life will never be the same. You will begin to notice that good fortune seems to attract itself to you. The things you want in life will start to align, and from now on, you will no longer have those problems, the worries, that constant anxiety that you may have experienced before. Fear, doubt, all that will become a thing of the past. And herein lies the secret of success, and also the secret of failure. We become what we think. Now, let me repeat that. We become what we think. If you take a moment to reflect on this and really grasp its meaning, you'll begin to realize how it shapes everything around you. That's not just a catchphrase. It's a profound truth that permeates our entire existence. The great sages and masters of history, philosophers, prophets, and thinkers over the centuries have always disagreed on many points, but there was one thing on which they all absolutely agreed. And it's not something you'll hear every day, but it's something that makes all the difference to your life. Marcus Aurelius, the great Roman emperor, said, "A man's life is what his thoughts make of it." That couldn't be more true. What you think is what you become. If you spend your time thinking about something negative, then your life will be shaped by those thoughts. If you spend your time focusing on positive goals, dreams, and ambitions, your life will follow that direction. Disraeli, a British statesman, shared a similar thought. Everything comes if a man knows how to wait. And what did he mean by that? That when you focus on a goal with patience and perseverance, you will inevitably achieve what you want. It's just a matter of time and keeping your mind on what's important without being diverted by distractions along the way. Ralph Waldo Emerson, another great thinker, said, "A man is what he thinks about all the time." If you believe that you can achieve great things, then you will constantly be moving towards them. The way you see yourself, the way you think about yourself and the world around you, is what creates your reality. William James, one of the greatest psychologists in history, said that the greatest discovery of his generation was that human beings can alter their lives by altering their mental attitudes. This is more than just an optimistic idea. It's a concrete life strategy. When you change your mindset, you change the possibilities that arise for you. He also said something incredibly important. We need only, in cool serenity, act as if what we desire were real, and it will unfailingly become real, growing into such a connection with our life that it will become reality. And he goes further. If you care enough about an outcome, you will almost certainly achieve it. If you want to be rich, you will be rich. If you want to be educated, you will be educated. If you wish to be good, you will be good. But you must truly desire these things and desire them exclusively, without wanting a series of other things that are incompatible with this goal. The key here is focus. Success doesn't come from wanting one thing while pursuing other things at the same time, but from dedicating yourself entirely to what you really want to achieve. The Bible in Mark 9:23 says, "If you can believe, all things are possible to him who who believes. This reflects the universal truth that faith, a deep belief in something, is what moves mountains. When you believe in what is possible, reality begins to shape itself to fit that belief. My old friend, Dr. Norman Vincent Peale, summed up this idea incredibly clearly. He said that this is one of the greatest laws of the universe, and he himself only discovered it later in life. If he had understood it earlier, he believes he would have had an even more successful life. The law he discovered and went on to teach to many people around the world is simple. If you think negatively, you will get negative results. If you think positively, you will get positive results. This is a simple but powerful fact. Prosperity and success are not just the result of luck or being in the right place at the right time. They come from mentality, from the way you shape your mind and your expectations. The right mental attitude is the key to unlocking the potential that lies within you. Peale said that the way you think about life ultimately determines what you get out of it. If you think in positive terms, if you believe in your own potential, opportunities will start lining up. On the other hand, if you focus on doubts, fears, and limitations, these will be the experiences you attract. Shakespeare also referred to this principle in his works. Our fears are the traitors that make us lose the good we might gain by fearing to try. Here he is talking about how doubt and fear can paralyze us, preventing us from achieving the success that is within our reach, if only we have the courage to move forward. This is a crucial point in understanding how the human mind works. It can be our ally or our enemy, depending on how we use it. George Bernard Shaw, the great Irish playwright, said, "People are always blaming their circumstances for what they are, and that's a trap." The truth is that circumstances are not what determine who you are or what you can achieve. What really matters is what you do with your circumstances. You can be shaped by circumstances, or you can be their creator, depending on how you choose to react and position yourself in life. Why do people with clear and defined goals stand out and achieve success, while those without direction end up failing? If you still don't fully understand, I'm telling you that if you really grasp this concept, your life could change radically. I'm not exaggerating. If you internalize this idea, you'll start to notice that good fortune seems to attract itself to you, as if everything starts to align around you. The things you want start to seem closer, and suddenly, the anxieties, fears, and uncertainties that used to accompany you start to disappear. This isn't magic. It's a universal law that, when understood, begins to generate extraordinary results. The secret is simple. We become what we think. This idea is not new and has been said by great thinkers throughout history. It is an undeniable truth, and by understanding it deeply, you begin to realize how your thoughts shape everything that happens in your life. When you decide to focus on a goal, when you consistently think about it and act towards that goal, you begin to attract the opportunities you need to achieve it. Conversely, if you don't have a clear goal, or if your thoughts are scattered, you'll end up getting lost in a cycle of frustration, anxiety, and eventually failure. The key to change begins with defining a clear objective. What do you want to achieve? What do you really want? Sometimes it can be difficult to answer these questions because society and external standards often tell us what we should want. The pressure to follow certain norms, have certain possessions, or achieve certain social statuses can distract us from what really matters to us. But if you can stop and reflect on what is really important to you without letting yourself be influenced by what others expect of you, then you will have the power to start changing your life. Often, the people who achieve success in their lives are not those who have the most abundant resources or the best starting conditions. In fact, many of these individuals may have started with very little. What sets these people apart is the clarity of their goals and the perseverance with which they pursue them. When you have a clear goal, you become able to look at challenges with a positive mindset, and even if you face obstacles, you don't lose focus. Perseverance, the ability to keep going even in the face of difficulties, is what turns dreams into reality. The idea that the human mind is extremely powerful and can be used to create what we want has been understood by many philosophers, psychologists, and leaders throughout history. As I've already mentioned, figures such as William James, Marcus Aurelius, and Waldo Emerson taught that our thoughts not only reflect who we are, but that they have the power to shape our destiny. When you start to visualize success and believe that you are capable of achieving it, your subconscious starts to work in your favor. And this is not just a matter of luck. In other words, success is not something that comes by chance. It comes from within, from the way you think, feel, and act. No matter what your goal is, whether it's getting rich, becoming a great professional, or simply having a happier life, the first step is always the same. Decide what you really want and start working towards that goal every day. This in itself already begins to change the circumstances around you. Your mind, like the example of fertile soil, makes no distinction between what you plant. If you plant the right goal and nurture that goal with dedication, it will grow and manifest itself. Now, I want you to stop for a moment and think about what you really want. What's on your mind right now? Do you have a clear goal in mind? If you don't have one yet, what would be the first step towards defining that goal and starting to act towards it? I ask this because the simple act of defining a goal can be the key that opens all the doors to your future. Before I continue, I want to know your opinion on everything we've discussed so far. Have you started to define your goals? What's on your mind right now when you think about what you want for the future? If you feel comfortable, let me know in the comments what your biggest goal is right now and what you think is stopping you from achieving it. I'd love to know what you think and maybe share some tips to help you move forward with your dreams. Now, if you're still enjoying this content and think these ideas could help more people, don't forget to leave a like. The more people who understand the power of thought and the importance of setting a goal, the more change we can generate in the world. Returning to our topic, as you can see, the human mind is an incredible tool and can be the starting point for any success. However, just like a large machine that needs a skilled operator to direct it, your mind needs to be guided deliberately and consciously. This means that you must take control of the direction of your life, take charge of your actions, and think about what you really want to achieve. When you do this, you'll notice that the world around you will begin to shape itself according to your expectations and efforts. Now, you may be wondering, why don't many people use the power of the mind effectively? After all, if the mind is so powerful, if it can be the key to success, why do so many people end up living a life of frustration and mediocrity? The truth is that despite the immense potential of the human mind, many people don't know how to use it properly. And this happens for a very simple reason. We take our minds for granted as something that has always been there, something that we don't need to invest much effort in understanding or developing. However, the fact that it's free and part of our being from birth doesn't make it any less valuable or powerful. On the contrary, precisely because we don't value it enough, we often leave this immense potential untapped. When we are born, our minds come with an immense capacity to learn, create, solve problems, and achieve our goals. But just like a farmer who has vast fertile land at his disposal, if he doesn't choose what to plant, the land will simply remain unused. The human mind works in the same way. If you don't actively choose what you want to plant in it, it will end up being influenced by external, often negative thoughts and influences that shape your reality in unpredictable and directionless ways. Scientific studies show that, on average, people only use around 10% of the total capacity of their minds. That's pretty impressive when you stop to think about what could be achieved if more people started using their minds in a full and directed way. The reality is that most people don't dedicate themselves to cultivating their thoughts. Instead, they indulge in a continuous stream of external stimuli, work, social media, the news, and many other distractions, and end up getting lost in the whirlwind. There is no clarity of purpose, no well-defined strategies for achieving what they really want out of life. Now, the question remains, how can you change this? How can you start using your mind more effectively? The first step is to make a conscious choice about what you want. What do you really want to achieve? What is your goal? I know that for many people this can be a difficult question to answer, because the society we live in tends to push certain ready-made goals onto us. Making money, having a nice house, having a successful career. But these are someone else's goals, not yours. What do you want? What makes your heart beat faster? When you define this clearly, you will have taken the first step towards success. When you define your goal, you begin to create a clear path to achieving it. And the key to this is consistency. You need constant action, day after day, towards your goal. No matter how much you stumble or stray from the path, the important thing is to keep moving towards what you really want. Small steps every day will take you closer to your goal. Remember, success doesn't come from big leaps, but from a sequence of small advances made with intention and persistence. When you start focusing on what you want, you'll notice that things start to change around you. The world begins to respond to your thoughts, but it's not a magical change that happens overnight. It's a process that requires patience, effort, and dedication. What you are actually doing is shaping your own reality. You are creating a future that corresponds to your thoughts, actions, and daily choices. It's interesting to see how many people have the power to achieve everything they want, but end up getting lost in their own doubts and insecurities. They start thinking about a goal, but soon become consumed by the fear of failure or the doubt that they can do it. This is the biggest obstacle to achieving success, the mind that is constantly dominated by fear and doubt. When you allow these feelings to control your actions, you distance yourself from your true potential. The key to success, then, is to control these thoughts, replacing them with positive and constructive ones. Instead of thinking about what could go wrong, start thinking about what could go right. By changing the way you think, you change the way you act. And by changing the way you act, you change the direction of your life. Have you ever thought that perhaps the difficulties you're facing now could be overcome if you simply change the way you think about them? Instead of seeing obstacles as barriers, start seeing them as learning opportunities. Every challenge is a chance to grow, to improve, to become stronger, and more importantly, every difficulty you overcome is a step closer to achieving your goal. Success is not a straight line. It is made up of ups and downs. But the most important thing is to never give up and to keep moving forward, no matter what. When you start to take control of your thoughts and shape your reality with intention, you begin to notice that the world around you also begins to change. Opportunities that once seemed distant begin to appear. The right people start to appear. And perhaps most importantly, you begin to realize that success is not something that just happens. Success is something you create with your thoughts, your actions, and your persistence. Now, I want to know from you, have you started to identify what you really want to achieve in your life? What are your biggest goals? Do you already feel capable of achieving them? If not, what do you think is holding you back? I'd love to hear your answers in the comments. Let's share ideas and exchange experiences. And if you like this content, don't forget to like it and share it with your friends. The more people who know how to use the power of the mind to transform their lives, the more positive change we'll see in the world. By now, you should be beginning to realize the depth of what has been discussed so far. The key to achieving any goal, be it financial, personal, or professional, lies in how you use your mind. We become what we think. And the great truth is that the human mind has immense power, capable of taking us to incredible places or leaving us stagnant, depending on how we choose to use it. When we start to reflect on what we really want for our lives and make the deliberate choice to focus our thoughts and actions in that direction, we open the door to a future full of opportunities. The truth is that the biggest obstacle to success is not external circumstances, but the way we deal with our own thoughts. When you start focusing on something positive, on a clear and well-defined goal, your mind starts working for you. You start to attract the right people, the right opportunities, and, most importantly, solutions to problems that previously seemed insurmountable. This is the real secret of success, understanding that the mind is a powerful tool and that by controlling it, we can create the life we want. It doesn't matter where you come from, what obstacles you've faced, or what the world says is possible. What matters is how you choose to think, how you choose to act, and which direction you decide to take. When you understand this, your life will never be the same. You begin to realize that success is within your reach, that you are capable of achieving anything you want, as long as you are willing to invest time, energy, and focus on that goal. And this brings with it great responsibility, because when you understand that you have the power to create your reality, you also realize that you must be responsible for what you create. If your thoughts can create success, they can also create failure. That's why it's essential to be careful about what you put into your mind, what you feed it every day. Just as a farmer chooses what to plant on his land, you must choose wisely what to plant in your mind. If you want success, you must plant thoughts of success, thoughts of confidence, perseverance, and clarity. And when doubts or difficulties arise, remember that these are only temporary moments, and that, with focus and persistence, you will overcome any obstacle. Now, the most important thing, you have to start. Don't wait for the circumstances to be perfect. Don't wait for the right moment. Don't wait for everything to fall into place before you act. The secret is to start, and start now. No matter how small the step, the important thing is to take the first step. Success is a continuous process, a journey, not a fixed destination. True success lies in constantly striving towards your goal, learning and growing every day. And along this journey, you'll realize that changes don't happen overnight, but progress is constant. Every day you dedicate to your goal is one day closer to achieving it. So stay focused, be patient with yourself, and trust the process. As you develop and grow, success will become more and more natural for you. Now, before I conclude, I want to know what you think about all this. Have you started applying these concepts in your life? What are your goals, and what are you doing to achieve them? I really want to know your view on what we've discussed so far, and I'd be happy to hear your thoughts in the comments. Don't be afraid to share, because your journey can inspire others too. If you like this content, don't forget to like the video. This helps the channel a lot and gives more people access to these transformative ideas. And if you know someone who needs to hear these words and learn to use the power of the mind to create their own reality, share this video. Together, we can spread these ideas and help more people achieve the success and happiness they deserve. Remember, true transformation begins with the decision to think differently. And you've already made that decision.